Welcome to Sports Talk.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is Nick from Top Notch Sports, and today we're going to be going over the Pittsburgh Steelers salary review and off-season moves for 2023. In 2022, the Pittsburgh Steelers went 9-8, finishing third in the AFC North. And again, some people would say this was a successful season. Some people would say this was disappointing. But from looking at it from a broad perspective, you got to say that this was very successful. Rookie quarterback Kenny Pickett made grand strides throughout the season. Mike Tomlin once again finished the season above 500, never having a season below 500 since he's been a head coach. When you look at a team like this and the strides that they've taken, even in Matt Canada's offense, whether you like it or hate it, going 9-8, placing third in the division behind the Ravens and the Bengals with a rookie quarterback, and all the adversity this team went through, you got to say that there's brighter days ahead for this team. Now, if you're new to this series, welcome. If you're not new to this series, welcome back. We're going to be going over a little bit of a mock offseason, mock free agency, mock draft, and just a mock everything. The entire offseason is going to go through here, and then at the end, I'll make my prediction on how I think this team will do going into next year if they make the moves that we got them making. So here we go. Let's hop right into it. Here we are right here. First things first, I want to draw your attention to the top left corner of the screen. The Pittsburgh Steelers have $13.2 million in cap space going into 2023. You look at the team here, the guys that right now are shown are guys that are currently under contract. If they're not currently under contract, they'll be on the next slide on the notable losses. When you look at this team here, anybody in green, if you cut them, you save money. Anybody in red, if you cut them, you lose money. Quick example, real fast. The Pittsburgh Steelers were going to go out and cut Mason Cole, they would save $3.9 million. If they were to go out and cut Kenny Pickett, which you would never do, but if they were to do it, they will lose $8.4 million. So look at the screen. Let me know who you think they may cut, who they may part ways with. And let me know in the comment section below, because, again, what I may do might be different than what you may think they may do. But some key guys here to look at. I mean, you're not going to get rid of Cameron Hayward. He's been playing like a monster. You look at Miles Jack, $8 million. I know he played pretty decent for you guys, but again, it's worth $8 million. You don't have a ton of cap space to really make signings or free agent signings, so we'll have to wait and see what we're able to do here. Here are your notable losses. Now, first things first, again, we're going to go over here to the percent of snaps played column. This is a percent of snaps they played when they were active for game day. If the player was on the IR, it does not get counted against them. So if you see someone that played like 90%, but he was on IR for half the year, it's because they don't count being on IR or not being active for a game as against their percent of snaps played. First things first, we got defensive end Larry Ogunjobi. His expected contract, a 2-year, $6.9 million deal, and he plays 66% of the snaps. Next guy, cornerback Cameron Sutton. He is expected contract, a 3-year, $22.9 million deal, and he played 93% of the snaps. The next player is defensive tackle Chris Wormley. His expected contract, a 2-year, $11.8 million deal, and he played 36% of the snaps. The next guy would be safety Terrell Edmonds. His expected contract, a 2-year, $10.9 million deal, and he played 93% of the snaps. Last but not least is linebacker Devin Bush. His expected contract, a 1-year, $3 million deal, and he plays 66% of the snaps. Now, typically, a good rule of thumb here is this. He played a high percentage of the snaps this season, and he played well with the same regime. Typically, the regime will bring it back the next season. So we'll wait and see what we do on the next slide. Here we are. Here are our potential targets. Now, again, this slide is what we expect this team to do in this offseason. So you got $13.2 million in cap space. We got them cutting William Jackson, who didn't really play at all this year, which puts you at $16.7 million in estimated cap space available for this upcoming offseason, which gives you just enough room to be able to make 2 signings. We're going to re-sign Cam Sutton to a 3-year, $22.8 million deal, which is a $7.6 million cap hit. And we're going to bring back Terrell Edmonds on a 2-year, $10.8 million deal, $5.4 million cap hit. Overall, this is going to be $13 million in total cost, which leaves us with $3.7 million in estimated remaining cap space. Now, this will roll over to the 2024 season, which should give you more money to use that season. So you can re-sign players, trade for players, sign players, et cetera, et cetera. Going into team needs, here we go. So what does this do? Well, we're going to re-sign Cam Sutton, which is going to fill in our cornerback need, and we're going to re-sign Terrell Edmonds, which is going to fill in our safety need. Now, with that being stated, what are we going to do in the draft? Well, First round, we're going to draft cornerback Christian Gonzalez to fill in our cornerback need. In the second round, we're going to draft defensive tackle Gervon Dexter to fill in our defensive tackle need. Then we're going to go into the second round again, and we're going to draft wide receiver Kayshon Boutte. And that will fill in our wide receiver need, especially since we got rid of Chase Claypool. And last but not least, in the third round, we're going to draft linebacker Owen Pape to fill in our linebacker need, considering we're not bringing back Devin Bush. Now you look, we got our wide receiver need filled with drafting Kayshon Boutte. We got our defensive tackle need filled by drafting Gervon Dexter, and we got our linebacker need filled by drafting Owen Pape. So on the next slide now, we're going to go into our 2023 expected lineup. Here we are, our 2023 expected lineup, and you can see here a few different colors. I'm going to explain to you what it is. First and foremost, you don't see no yellow. That's a good sign. Yellow are players that we consider as placeholders. If we know they weren't that good, or we figure that they didn't score that high on PFF, we usually put them in yellow. Fortunately, nobody on this team reaches a yellow marker. Then you got light blue and orange. Orange is going to be guys that we re-signed. We re-signed Cam Sutton. We re-signed Terrell Edmonds. Those are our two big re-signs. And besides that, the only other thing we're going to do is we're going to draft. We're going to draft Kayshon Boutte. We're going to draft Christian Gonzalez. We're going to draft Gervon Dexter. We're going to draft Owen Pape. And we're still going to have $3.7 million left to make signings during the season. Now, looking at this roster is pretty dang solid. The offensive line is a little bit iffy, but they're kind of slowly growing together. And again, a unit like the offensive line, you got to learn each other's every move. For the wide receivers, between George Pickens, Deontay Johnson, and Kayshon Boutte, this is a very young receiving core. Throw in Pat Freiermuth, very, very young. You got Najee Harris, oh my goodness, do you got young. And then you got a rookie quarterback in Kenny Pickett. The whole core, the weapons on this offense are all extremely young. God bless this offense, really. I mean, it's crazy. There's no other thing I can say about this offense. The weapons here are all young. They're all in their 25, I believe, and probably younger, depending on what Deontay Johnson is. I believe he might be around 25, 26, if I'm not mistaken. Or if anything, possibly even younger than that. I'm going to try to do a quick. Yeah, it's 26. So say your entire offense is 26 years old and younger, which is just absolutely insane to me. I mean, your weapons. I don't know about your offensive line. Your offensive line, you have a few older guys. But really, I don't think not too many there either. You look at the defense, Gervon Dexter, Cameron Hayward, Alex Highsmith, and TJ Watt. You can't get a better front four than probably that, I'm going to be honest with you. Highsmith and Watt coming off the edge, Cameron Hayward, a future Hall of Famer, and Gervon Dexter, a nice young guy to learn from Cameron Hayward. That's a really nice defensive line. You look at your cornerback room, Christian Gonzalez, Cameron Sutton, and Kella Witherspoon. Look, Gonzalez is going to be added in there, probably play right away. Cam Sutton bringing him back. Again, it's not a great room, but doing this is only going to add depth and add pieces. Linebackers, Miles Jack and Owen Pape, Terrell Edmonds, and Minkah Fitzpatrick as safeties. Two pretty dang good safeties, if you ask me. Minkah Fitzpatrick being one of the best safeties in the National Football League. Overall, this team goes from being 9-8 and finishing third in the division this past season to now, I think, truly, possibly being a runner-up if they make this moves. The one team you still got to look out for, in my opinion, is going to be Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a tough squad, and they're not getting any worse over the next few years. They actually got some money to spend. When you look at Cleveland, if Deshaun Watson can take strides forward, they're going to battle it out with you guys as well. And you got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. I believe Lamar Jackson will be back next year to make this division another very tough one. I think this next upcoming season, you went 9-8 this year with Kenny Pickett in year 2, and you make the moves that we got you making. I think this team will only get slightly better, but possibly, and I think, make the playoffs, being 10-7 going into next season if they make these moves. 10-7, I feel like, would be enough to probably punch them in the playoffs and give them a chance to go and maybe get some playoff experience with such a young core of guys. The Steelers fans, let me know what you think in the comment section below. What do you think? Where do you think I went right? Where do you think I went wrong? This was all for entertainment purposes, but I hope you enjoyed, and let me know what you think. Until next time, we'll see you guys soon. Peace. We are Go Better.